This is the Solid Signal Podcast for the week of January 7th, 2019. This week, the annual Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, known as CES, is going on, and our team at Solid Signal is there, covering it obsessively, as another website might say. And if you haven't checked out our coverage at the Solid Signal blog, year after year, we try to put out the best stuff for you. We try to avoid the kind of typical stories that you'll find at some of the other tech blogs because, we've got a few people. We don't have a bus. We don't have a video production studio, and we try to give you the perspective of the person on the floor. Many times that person is me. Anyway, the big hit of the show this year is projected to be 8K televisions. And let me just say, with regard to 8K televisions, are you flippin' kidding me? I mean, honestly. Okay, I get it. If you're a manufacturer of televisions, you have to do something to try to keep profit margins up. You have to have some kind of product that you can charge $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $20,000 for, because that's where the real profit margin is. Unfortunately, that hasn't worked very well in over a decade. If you remember, everybody went from tube televisions to flat televisions in the 2000s. That's how we did stuff. It wasn't just that HDTV was coming, but prices were reasonable at that time, and the picture quality was a huge jump from what it was with a tube television. You could go from a 27-inch tube television to a 37-inch high-definition TV, and back then that was considered huge, for about $2,000, and people did it in droves. And then TV manufacturers said, let's get them to do it again. They came up with 3D television. People didn't bite, and that disappeared from the market within a few years. Then they came up with 4K. I first saw my first 4K television back in 2012, and I was not incredibly impressed because there was no content. And here it is, 2019. And even today in 2019, there's really not a ton of content. Most of it is over streaming, and the quality of 4K streaming is really not that different from the quality of HD satellite. So there's really very, very few places you can see a true high-quality 4K picture. They tried to tell us about HDR, high dynamic range, which makes the brighter stuff seem brighter and the darker stuff seem darker. And people liked it, but nobody really bought it until it became affordable. And now we're at this point with 4K televisions, where you should be buying a 4K television. I told you for years not to buy one, and I'm telling you now, if you're replacing your television, you absolutely should buy one because it's about all you're going to be able to get in any television over 40 inches in size. And the prices are ridiculous. You can get a 55-inch TV now, 4K, high dynamic range, for about $600 at your local store. And it's going to look great. It's going to be the best looking TV that you've ever owned, even if you owned a $40,000 TV just 10 years ago. That's great. That's amazing. But 8K, sorry, that's a bridge too far. At least for me, at least for now. There are all sorts of formulas and such that tell you how big of a TV you should get, what kind of a TV you should get. And one of the most important ones is visual field, which says, okay, how big is the TV compared to the things around it. Visual field is what makes movie screens seem huge. They take up about half to a little bit more than 3/4 of your visual field, depending on where you're sitting. And they make phone screens seem huge when they're really close to your face. Visual field is important, and in order to get a TV that takes up even a third of your visual field, you're going to need an 80 or 100-inch TV in a large room. In a smaller mid-size room, a 50 to 75-inch TV is going to do the same thing. But that doesn't have to do with whether it's 4K or 8K or HD. The larger a TV gets, the blurrier it's going to look with lower quality content. If you've taken any look at standard definition content on your 55-inch TV or larger lately, you'll realize that it looks incredibly blurry, blurrier than you remember it looking because you used to watch it on a 13-inch TV, which honestly looked pretty good. So, do you need 4K or 8K or 16K or whatever for that 80 or 100-inch TV? Well, look, if you do it by the numbers, then once you get up to about an 80-inch TV, then 8K begins to look like the right thing to do. But really, Do you need it? No, you don't. I mean, movies are projected in 4K onto these gigantic screens, and I've never heard anybody complain about the lack of resolution or quality on a movie screen. There are probably a few people out there, and more power to you if you're one of them, but you just don't hear that from people. They like the fact that it's a really big screen. There is no 8K content to even compare right now, and even if you did, the comparisons would be silly. It would be based on still frames. It would be based on being very close up, which is the same way that they compare 4K to high definition. It doesn't really say anything about the real TV viewing experience. 8K is double the resolution of 4K. 4K is double the resolution of HD, and HD is about 3 times the resolution of standard definition. But, more importantly, the amount of information it takes, the bits, the ones and zeros that it takes to broadcast an 8K picture with any kind of quality, it's simply out of range right now. I said that about 4K a number of years ago, and it's still in a lot of ways true. Yeah, Netflix and Hulu and Amazon will give you a 4K picture in as little as 10 to 15 megabits, but it's highly compressed and it doesn't look great. In order to get really good-looking 4K, even with today's technology, you need 35 to 50 megabits sustained. And yeah, I'm here to tell you, I know that you think your cable company is giving you a 100 megabit service, and you'll get that in short bursts, but you won't get it in a sustained burst. The whole system just isn't designed to deliver you that. So you're not going to get even true 4K quality out of today's streaming. Now, take that and double it, so that, you're going to need a sustained burst of 120, 150 megabit per second just to get good quality 8K. That's just not going to happen today. Come to me in a couple of years. The bottom line, folks, here is enjoy the cute pictures of 8K televisions and enjoy watching the coverage of CES and reading it at the Solid Signal blog. But save your money. Don't buy an 8K television. If you'd bought one last year, it'd be completely obsolete this year because all of this year's ones come with HDMI 2.1. Next year, they'll be half the price and they'll come with something else. Even the earliest of early adopters should stay away from 8K television today unless you just happen to have won the lottery and have absolutely nothing better to spend your money on. For now, enjoy the fact that 4K televisions, even the best ones, are relatively inexpensive, and save a few dollars up for the time that 8K really makes a difference, which is going to probably be 5 to 7 years from now, if ever. That's about it for me for the podcast. Like I said, check out other CES content at the Solid Signal blog, blog.solidsignal.com, and shop at solidsignal.com for the best in consumer electronics and accessories. Have a great week, and I will talk to you again next time.